But we had really mild temperatures for the longest time, and then all of a sudden it just got cold and started snowing. And so I think it set in for a while according to the forecast. So we really were not prepared, and I constantly told myself that I wanted to make it, you know, a lot of different easy systems so that we don't have to struggle through the winter. And the winter's here, and I have not done the things that I wanted to do, but we'll get through it somehow. All right, since it's a cold, nasty day outside, there you go, you can see outside. It's a good day to get some stuff done inside. So this is our leftovers, all the pieces that we didn't cook with the main turkey. So I threw the neck in here. Sorry, Eddie, no neck for you, can't save it. And just kind of like the trimmings, I took the breastplate out because I did a spatchcock turkey, and so I took the breastplate out and I took the spine out and I took the neck out, which they give you the neck, so I just threw that all in there. And so it's been simmering in this crock pot for like 24 hours. And so what I'm doing now is I'm trying to drain off all of the broth, and I'm gonna get all the little scraps of the meat because that'll be great for like turkey pot pie. And I'm gonna pick all the bones out of it. And what I'm gonna do with these bones, look how brittle these bones are after sitting there for 24 hours. Like, I can literally just smash them up. And so I'm making a little Thanksgiving meal for our chickens because they basically crumble. Okay, so you don't have to worry about them. You know, once they get to be like cooked for this long, you know, bird bones are not that strong anyway. When they've been cooked for 24 hours, this is what a bone turns into basically from a turkey. And so we just cooked those in the crock pot. And so those are really high, obviously, in calcium and nutrients for our chickens to help them be able to lay eggs. They're not laying a lot of eggs right now because it's winter, but they still need that nutrition, and they still, you know, need those calories, especially when they're using a lot of calories just to stay warm out there. So like I said, going through here, picking out all the little bones, those will go to the chickens. And so I'm picking out all the meat and saving that back so that we can use that for soups, stews, chicken or turkey pot pie. And then I've got the broth in here, and I'm actually going on a fast today. Today's my birthday, and I've decided I'm going to do at least a 24 to 36 hour fast, hopefully 36 hour fast. And so I'm going to drink this broth at the end of that fast, and I'm going to save this back as well because we can use that in soups and all that stuff, all that good stuff. It's full of nutrition. And yeah, so like nothing is going to waste. So I like to see that. You guys going through that new hay pretty fast, aren't you? Try to get a bath, get cleaned off. Try to drop this underneath of their thing so it doesn't get snowed on. Nice. Even though it looks like you could skip a couple meals there, boss. Are you pregnant? Look at her belly. It's just hanging really low.
She might be pregnant.
It's going to be a mix. We don't even know who the father is.
All the women are fighting instead of...
They go right for that new hay, but they just will not eat that stuff that's older down there. Right now for nutrition, we're like kind of mid-gestation. So we believe that at least 2 of these ewes have been bred. And so they're about 2 months in, 2.5 months in. So we're about mid-gestation. So we really don't, they can basically survive on just some decent average hay. And we really don't want them to grow or give them too many surplus nutrients now because we'll just have some big lambs. Well, the nutrition would go to the fetus rather than the lamb itself, or the ewe itself. So we just basically are giving them hay. They do have a mineral block there just for their basic minerals, just a sheep block, and just giving them hay every day. And the ram's in there with him, so he just gets much the same. And then old Pop-Tart, the pony, he doesn't need much because he doesn't do much. So, and he likes the hay, so he's in his element. And he gets the occasional apple and whatnot when we come out here. Yeah, don't pull on it. You're probably gonna have to dig it out. If you pull on it, it'll probably pop out. Dude, that is my jacket. That's the last of the sorghum, so enjoy it. We tried to eat like 10 stalks at once, I guess. Just trying to bring them in there. Trying to eat indoors, staying dry.
What?
He's bringing the things in there so he can sit inside. So we had a rabbit get out yesterday. Yeah, yesterday I think. And we've been trying to trap it for 2 days, and it has evaded us. But it's been hanging around here where it escaped because I think it's trying to get these leftover pellets. So we're gonna use that to our advantage, and I'm gonna really tuck this cage in there and try to catch this thing. Snow just makes everything a lot harder, and then the cold just makes everything a lot more miserable. So we've been feeding the sheep and goats small bales of hay, but I'm gonna try to get them some big bales because they're just going through it really fast. Because there's just really, I mean, there's just nothing to eat, you know. They have to dig through the snow for every little bite they get, and there wasn't that much left to begin with. They had really nibbled it down pretty low. So they're doing okay. We've got plenty of small bales, but I want to throw in one, possibly two, if I can fit it on this trailer, large bales. So I'm out here cleaning off the trailer, trying to get all the snow off of there because it's so much weight. And I was trying to back up everything and get everything hooked up. I've already lost the pin that goes in here, but you know, if that's all that happens, that's no big deal, because that's one of the cheaper things I can think of. Far worse could happen, but we're gonna get this hooked up and we're gonna get over there and we're gonna see if we can get some big round bales that we can throw in the pasture. Here's a pretty good example. So here's a pretty good example of what snow does to grass. So snow covers all the grass, right? We think grass is probably completely dead, right? Well, the snow will actually protect it very well. That's why bitter cold with no snow, bad for grass. Lots of snow and then cold, not terrible for grass. It puts it, you know, dormant. It's not growing, but as you can see underneath it here, this grass is green. And you know, if it stayed under here for a couple months, obviously it wouldn't have the chlorophyll, and so it wouldn't be, you know, getting energy from the sun, so it would get brown. But what I'm saying is it's protected. It's got this large layer of insulation over the top of it that's protecting it from the bitter cold, the bare, you know, bare air that's going to sap it and just gonna freeze it solid and kill it like a harsh kill. With the snow on top, you know, there's a considerable amount of insulation with snow. That's why, you know, the Eskimos or Inuits use it for their shelters, because there's a ton of insulation and it keeps them warm. Well, we did get her home. Yeah, had Dad loaded up with the skid steer, the Bobcat, and the thing came apart. But hay is hay, and this is, I mean, it's good hay, good stuff. It's just, it works better when it all stays together. But we kind of got it rigged up here. We got straps all over the place. We got the boards to kind of keep, you know, that in front from the wind tearing it off. And you know what? Made it about 15 miles back home, and well, didn't look like I lost too much anyway. So if I did lose some, well, the deer got to eat too. So I do got to say, I was just a tad bit nervous driving this thing down the interstate, but she made it. Now my plan is to back the trailer into the lot, into the pasture, and just leave the hay on the trailer so Pop-Tart can get to it, the pony can get to it, you know, from the ground to the sides. And then the sheep and the goats can actually, they can just walk up the ramp. I'll let the ramp down, they can walk up the ramp and get onto it. And so that'll leave the hay up off of the snow. And it will also alleviate the need for me to have to push it off the trailer and mess with it in the snow. So the key to this plan to work is to get through here and pull these all out and move them without it, of course, snapping, because in this cold weather, these things, even no matter how high quality they are, when things are 8 degrees, they just snap. So I'm gonna try to get these out of here and lay them down so I can pull over the top of them without them snapping off. All right, so this first one is gonna give me a good idea of how well this is gonna work. There's a lot of snow and a lot of ice keeping them down. So that one came out not too bad. I'm able to pull this netting up out of the snow. It's kind of frozen to the ground. And so I think if I'm careful and I don't run over the post, that I can just roll over the top of this and just pull it in and turn around. I got plenty of space to turn around in there. So let's just try that. There you go, she's in. That should work pretty good, I think. I'm also gonna throw in this all-purpose mineral block. It's for sheep on pasture. It's also for cattle, bison, hogs, and goats, but there's some things that you can give all those other things, especially goats, that you can't give sheep. So we made sure that this is for sheep. You can see here, copper, none added. So sheep can't have too much copper. So we try to stay away from that and make sure that they get the right amount of feed, that they get the right amount of minerals and not too much of a mineral that they can't handle that will harm them, right? So we got the all-purpose mineral block, and we made sure that that was for sheep as well. That'll give them a little added nutrients in there with the calcium, phosphorus, some salt, selenium, manganese, iodine, vitamin A and D, and all that other stuff that they might not be able to get from this hay. They're already trying to get in there, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this other lift gate down, give them another access point to this hay. Maybe, actually, I don't think I can, because this is wedged in there, so they'll have to eat some of that down first. But it looks like they figured it out. She's always into stuff first, so she will show them the way. Yeah, I didn't think that they would have too much trouble. Yeah, it's gonna be good for them. They're gonna have all this out of the snow, be able to get up here onto this trailer and at least get their feet out of the snow while they're eating and stuff, and if they need to get up here and lay on it. Well, they got the barn and the shed and stuff that they can get into, but if they're out here feeding or whatever, at least their feet can be out of the snow. Hey girl, figuring it out? Hey buddy. Okay, yeah, I think that's actually gonna work out pretty good. Be a lot less waste, you know, it'll be on the trailer, so we'll be able to eat it off of there. Won't fall on the ground and rot, so I think that's gonna be a good deal. It's warming up, 14 degrees. It was 7 this morning, so it's a little better. We've been taking Piggy's food, a little bit of livestock feed, cracked corn, soaking it in warm water. He seems to really like that, like he just likes his back scratch, don't you, boy? Don't you, boy? Yeah, you like that back scratch, don't you? You like your back scratches, don't you? Sometimes I can get him to move his back leg like a dog. You're a good boy, aren't you? You're gonna be delicious. You're gonna be delicious. You're a happy pig. That shelter I made in the last video is holding up pretty good and keeping them nice and dry in there. They seem to really like it. Keeping the snow off of them, keeping the wet and cold off of them, that's what it's supposed to do. So I'd say it's working pretty good for a free shed. Meant to close that front end, but I didn't get time to, but it seems like they're doing just fine in there. Yeah, I figured with Lenore, their fearless leader there, it wouldn't take them too long to figure that out. Makes me sleep better at night knowing they've got plenty of fresh hay and that I don't have to go do it, you know, every day. You know, it's just there for them. That's the downfall of having ducks in the winter. They love water and they always want something not only to drink, but to bathe in. They're super cold hardy. So you really don't have to worry about them much in the winter as far as being cold. They're made for it, but every day they gotta have some water, keeping it thawed to get into,